one of the Mohawk warriors from way back. And one thing that I wanted to remind people of when I heard about this going on was back in '83, '84, we did take on the Toronto Sun. And we threatened to sue them for institutionalized racism. And we know that a lot of the stuff that they put out is bordering on hate literature, and there are laws against that.
Yep.
And when we took them on in the '80s back then, we forced them to print my counter-editorial. Yeah. They did not print a letter to the editor. They wrote it in Barbara Emil's spot on the editorial page because they knew that they were wrong and they knew that we were right. And so I see this going on, and it really encourages me because I'm glad people are starting to pick that up because I'm getting old. You know, I mean, I can't fight anymore. I'm getting to the point now where I've got to just stand and fight because I can't run and I'm too stubborn to give up. So I just want to remind people that we can take them on, and let's force them into some action, you know, because this is hate literature, and there's laws against that. If they did the same thing, if they printed the same stuff that they're saying about Native people, about Jewish people, what do you think would happen? You know?
They wouldn't.
And the stuff that's going on is proof that the racism against Native people is systemic. It's built into the culture. You know? You go home and you watch any TV show tonight, and one of those shows, you're going to hear them say, "Oh, he's off the reservation." You hear that on TV shows all the time. You never hear them say, "Oh, he's off the kibbutz." You know, and it's time that they start being called on this stuff. Because it not only affects us, it affects our children. It affects the images that they see. It affects how they feel about themselves. And they don't understand this stuff that's going on. Not only that, but they're ignorant. They're not researched. How many people realize, you know, I was born in Toronto in 1952. I was not a citizen of Canada until 1958. I did not have the right to go to university until the mid-1960s. We could not gather like this. Previous to 1958, it was against the law for more than 3 Indians to gather in a public place. It was against the law for a lawyer to represent Native people. It was against the law for Native people to hire a lawyer. It was against the law for a Native person to go to school past the age of 15 or to get a post-secondary education. And in 1958, they finally passed citizenship for Native people. That was also done unilaterally, by the way, because they never asked us if we wanted to be. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not a citizen of Canada. I'm a citizen of the Mohawk Nation. I'm an Inuit. That's where I owe my allegiance. I don't owe it to Canada. Canada has oppressed us. Canada has suppressed us. Canada has denied us. Why do I want to be a part of something like that? What I want is liberation. I want Canada off my back so we can start doing what we got to do to repair our nations. Which? Put up afternoon, everybody. My name is Cameron. Hip-hop artist, young Ojibwe. My native name is Zongade, means strong heart. Pleasure to be out here with you guys today. And actually, you know what? It's kind of crazy how the media likes to portray us people as really like ignorant, you know, drunks or whatever it is. You know, actually, I want to share something. In Edmonton, my mother's husband at the time, he passed away. I guess he didn't come home one night, and I guess they found him, I guess, slumped over. I think he had had some alcohol poisoning or something. And the media portrayed it that he was in a gang fight. He got stabbed. There was blood all over, but when they recovered the body, there was no blood. There was nothing. So I think it's just a picture that the media paints our people as. It's just ridiculous, you know. And I think it's just a time now that we all stand here in solidarity and take action, whether you're Native or non-Native. You know, it's great that we have a lot of support. It's great that a lot of people out here, and I think we need more voices, and there will be, you know. So I think the media itself, they like to portray Native people as being, you know, ignorant or, what's that word I want to use when you're loud and you're obnoxious, that's the word. You know, like, we're people too. Why do we have to get, you know, treated as bad people? Yeah, I mean, people stole our land. people, treat us like crap, and, the grandparents in residential schools and stuff like that, but, you know what, we're still being picked on. We're still being bullied by corporations and media. We're all fed up because, we're trying to do the same thing everyone else is trying to do. And we can't do it because people don't like us for whatever reason. That's beyond us. But you know what? We're still here generations later, and we're not giving up the fight. That's why I'm proud to be here with each and every one of you today.
Sorry, I won't do that again.
Can everybody hear me? Because I'm not going to use that bullhorn.
Thank you. Everybody move in.
A lot of us wear a button like this one. It's called a unity button. It has little 4 colors. And I think the one thing we need to remember is those colors all meet in the middle. And one of the things that we need to do is find that common ground that everyone's been talking about. I put up a bit of online stuff against some of the racism that's on Facebook and things like that, and it kind of took off. But I also found out that feeding into that negativity that others are going to throw at us by throwing back at them is not going to get us anywhere. And that's one thing that a lot of people have said over and over. So I would ask that anyone that's part of this group remember those things. And that we do all meet in the middle, whatever color we are. And that's really important. I'm half of those 2 colors. I have a cousin that's a writer. He says, we're half Ojibwe, half Caucasian. So he formed a new race called the Occasions. And based on that, I think we're all special occasions. So that's what all I wanted to say. I just want this to be done in a good way.
Yeah.
And it was good to see so many people out here, and people like my brother Jay, who I haven't seen in too long. So that's all. All right? Good.
I'm thinking about what my brother has just said. The power that we have is to educate. That's why back in 1989 the government tried so hard to cut back post-secondary education so that we would not be smart. When I was a little girl, my dad always told us, get an education. It's important, because if you're going to fight with that white man, you have to use his own tools. Go and get an education. So that was one of the first things that what I remember. Along my life, I came across this thing called Aboriginal Native tradition. That's my life. That's how I live my life. And I didn't have that when I was growing up. I came to that as a young mother. And I belong to the Three Fires Medavan Lodge. And through that association, one of the things that I found out about Ogichida, so I wanted to lift up my brother's words because he's talking about being peaceful. He's talking about doing everything that you can in a good way. Okay? So, what Ogichida is the strong-hearted one. They are the ones that will do whatever they need to defend and protect the people. Always reminding themselves to have integrity. Integrity overall. The rules of Ogichida are respect your mother, honor all women, and overall use integrity. Aggression is your last resort. So we have a responsibility to those future generations to use integrity and to use whatever we can. Use our voices, our songs. Use that paper that they keep putting out, all of that information. Let's turn it around. We have it within us to make change that will go on to the next 7 generations in the future. That's why we're here. That's where we need to look. 7 generations from now, where our great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to be, because that's what our ancestors did for us. We're here because our relatives, our ancestors, Chisha, saw this day. So it's by no coincidence that any of you are here. You are meant to be here doing what you're doing. All these little ones have their ears on. They're watching and looking. That's how they're going to learn about who they are and where they belong, and that they're connected to our mother, Shkukamakwe. Nido.
Well, anybody else want to speak?
We can have a session with there too, right? Yeah. We have to.
Perfect.
Hi everyone. I prepared something because I usually go blank when it comes to public speaking. Thank you for coming here. I'm from Afghans United for Justice. My name is Layla. My name is Layla. I'm from Afghans United for Justice. I just want to share my story in relation to Sun Media. Just 1 month before Idle No More movement, Sun Media was also criminalizing Afghan women, such as myself, for holding an anti-war banner this past Remembrance Day. I was called treasonous for condemning the Canadian Armed Forces for the murder of Afghans in this occupation of my native land, Afghanistan. For weeks, they distorted the events of that day and falsely accused us of supporting terrorism. Their racist and Islamic-phobic followers sent us death and rape threats and continue to stalk us on social media. This was an intimidation tactic to censor the Afghan community who dared to publicly speak out against Canadian imperialism in Afghanistan. They are now busy criminalizing and demonizing the indigenous movement for challenging the settler colonial state. That because in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is always a revolutionary act, said by George Orwell. So Canada is on stolen native land, and us immigrants, we are settlers on it. We all descend from settlers to Turtle Island, including and especially those racist white colonial settler Canadians who've been telling us to go back home and trying to send us back to Afghanistan. These white supremacists selectively forget that the Canadian military is helping to occupy Afghanistan and is in its 11th year with this NATO-led illegal and imperialist war. Idle No More is not simply a grudge held by natives, which is something I've heard, for losing some kind of fair battle. It is about demanding self-determination and reclaiming what has always been theirs. Natives are not holding some kind of grudge for losing a battle because they have not lost it. They are still here and still resisting colonial rule, even after centuries of continuous Canadian colonial terror. They cannot defeat us because existence is resistance, and on a global scale, white supremacists are and always will be outnumbered. So I and my colleague Soraya, who was with me at the Remembrance Day protest, who could not be here today stand in solidarity as Afghans in the struggle for freedom from colonialism and neo-colonialism. Thank you so much.
Okay, we got one more speaker here, and then we're gonna have some more presentations once we get this on media. Okay, so just hold those thoughts, okay, because we're gonna get marching pretty soon. We're gonna get our muscles going, you know, and get our voices up to gear, you know. So I'd like to invite Jody to come on up, and Jody's gonna explain what Idle No More is and what Native people have been marching for and the movement. Okay, Neeraj.
Honey, so, everybody hear me out there?
Yeah.
Is this thing on? I wasn't, my name is Jody Kishigo. I come from Chippewa Territory. I am a Anishinaabe and a Haudenosaunee. I wasn't going to speak today. I was coming to participate, and John asked me to speak on Idle No More, so I try to contribute wherever I can, whenever I can. And if somebody asks me to speak, I'll do my best. This rally here against Sun Media, I have my own personal reasons for being here. I made a commitment to myself a few weeks back that I was going to boycott Sun Media and National Post and other racist and aggressive actions and voices out there. I myself have received threatening messages from other people as well as from our own people, and I believe those come from the corporations, the media, government, and all those that want to spread division amongst our people. Back in November and December, a movement had started called Idle No More, a hashtag that was born from 4 women out of Saskatchewan. At the same time, there were chiefs meeting at a national meeting and trying to figure out how to address this government, the Canadian government, that has marginalized First Nations people throughout history, but more particularly the Harper government and its majority government that has bullied people and forced their legislation through Parliament, spread lies, deception, and twisted the truth. My reason for coming to this rally against the Sun Media is because I wanted to keep this fairly quick and send you a message, let you know why I'm here. I believe there's other ways to fight against corporations like Sun Media. There's intelligent ways. There's ways we can do things that are creative. If everybody picked up a Toronto Sun newspaper or any Sun, no matter what city you live in, you'll notice that the majority of those newspapers are filled with advertisements. That they have advertising partners. They have partners out there, and they sell advertisements. Those media corporations that sell advertisements do business like any other business person, and it's all about money. So my proposal to people out there is to do your research, find out all those negative messaging, cut out those negative messaging, put them in a well-crafted letter, and send them to all their advertisers. All the Board of Trustees out there, show who they're supporting, because a lot of people don't realize when they read those papers that they're supporting a racist agenda. A lot of people don't see that. I used to read the Sun newspaper when I lived in Toronto years ago. I would pull out the sports section and that's all I would read. Or the entertainment section. A lot of times that's what the Sun Media is. It's an entertainment kind of newspaper. And people don't realize what they are actually supporting. So I think we have to be smart. and attack them where they don't expect us to attack them. Do your research, find those advertisers, find their addresses. They all have boards of trustees. They all have supporters, people who purchase their materials, and they don't want to be disrupted. Disrupt them. Disrupt their business. Get them where it hurts. If it's money that motivates these people, then we must stop their money. Woo! The I Don't Know More movement will not stop. It is a spiritual movement. It is not a movement that is led by one particular group. It is not a movement that's led by chiefs or by individuals. It's led by all people. It's led by all people who have love and kindness for Mother Earth and for each other. We all make mistakes. We all have a past. But we also have kindness, love, and forgiveness. And we move forward. And that's what we're showing. We're coming together. We're coming together and we're learning to look past our mistakes. And we're learning how to join together in complete unity for care and concern for each other and for Mother Earth. So let's go show Sun Media the power of unity and the power of peaceful resistance. Yango, miigwech.
How you, my friend? Happy New Year. How you doing, my friend? Hey, Shanger. You're live streaming it, right? What do you think? I can't call you one. Yeah, you were like, who's this? I'm like,